Hey, welcome. We're living in an age where AI is basically rewriting all the rules, right? So the big question is, how do you not just survive, but actually thrive? Well, we're going to break down the new rules of the game so you can build a real, lasting competitive edge.
I mean, this is the question on everyone's mind, isn't it? AI can code, it can design, it can write, and honestly, it can do it faster than most people. It's a genuine anxiety for a lot of us. But what if the real threat isn't the AI itself, but the way we've all been taught to think about our work?
This right here is the crucial shift. You see, for decades, we've all been trained to be problem solvers. We're great at getting a task and executing it perfectly. But AI is becoming the ultimate problem solver. So our new edge, where we can really shine, is in becoming question setters, the ones who find the right problems to solve in the first place. That's a skill you just can't automate.
And the secret to becoming a great question setter? It's all about adopting a new mental model. You have to stop seeing the world of commerce as just a checklist of tasks to get done. You need to start seeing it for what it really is, a strategic game, a game with rules that you can actually learn.
In fact, there's a perfect word for this concept: bo-yi. Think about it for a second. Negotiating a salary? That's bo-yi. Pitching a new client, launching a product, it's all a strategic game. And once you see it as a game with rules, well, you can start learning how to win.
So the very first rule of this game is a little counterintuitive. You're not aiming for perfect equality, because let's be real, in the real world, things like resources, information, and timing are never equal. The goal is a win-win. It's about creating an outcome that's good for everyone involved, even if it's not a perfect 50-50 split.
All right, so what's the first and maybe the most powerful rule of this game? It's all about mastering scarcity. This is the ultimate source of power, of leverage. Whoever controls the scarce resource, whether that's talent, information, or access, they're the one who holds the power to set the terms.
A perfect example of this is the job market for new graduates. In China, you've got this huge supply of grads, which gives employers all the leverage. But flip over to Japan, and it's the complete opposite. Companies are competing like crazy for a very scarce pool of talent. The entire power dynamic is flipped on its head, all because of scarcity. But here's where it gets really interesting. Scarcity isn't some fixed, absolute thing. Nope, it's entirely dependent on context. If you change the context, you can completely change the value of, well, anything.
Let's make this super real. A bottle of water costs what? $1? But if you're in the middle of a desert, its value is literally your survival. A restaurant license is valuable, sure, but a restaurant license inside Disney World, you've got a captive audience of thousands of people every single day. That's not just a business, that's a gold mine. Context doesn't just change the value, it multiplies it like crazy. And now for the master level move. If a resource isn't naturally scarce, you can actually manufacture the perception of it. You've seen this with hunger marketing. You know, hiring people to form a crazy long line outside a new store. It creates this powerful illusion of high demand and scarcity, and it makes everyone else desperate for what they think they can't have. Okay, so once you've learned to see scarcity, you unlock the second rule, finding the opportunities that everybody else is missing. This is where you really move from playing defense to playing offense in the game.
The key insight here is to stop looking for what users say they want. The biggest opportunities are hidden in their frustrations, their complaints, their day-to-day inefficiencies. User struggles. That's where the real, unmet demand is hiding. If you can solve a struggle, you've created real, undeniable value.
And there's a simple, super actionable method to do just that. First, discover. Just be an observer. What are people around you always complaining about? Second, calculate. You got to run the numbers. The source gives this incredible example of an entrepreneur who could estimate a restaurant's profit just by watching the foot traffic for an hour. And third, verify. Talk to insiders, use data, and make sure your hunch is actually real. This brings us to the final, and maybe the deepest, layer of the game. You have to understand the players, because at the end of the day, every transaction, every business decision, it's all driven by fundamental human psychology. You see, most of our spending today isn't for basic survival. It's about buying something called emotional value. And this really breaks down into a few core human drivers. We buy things to show off, to feel like we got a great deal, to feel safe and secure, to reinforce our own identity, or, let's be honest, just because everyone else is doing it. These are the invisible engines driving pretty much all of commerce.
Just think about it for a second. Is someone really spending thousands of dollars on a luxury watch just to tell time? Of course not. They're buying status. They're buying a sense of accomplishment, a way to show off. And understanding that hidden psychological need is the absolute key to unlocking what people are really buying.
So there you have it. This is your playbook for the game. Rule number 1, master scarcity to gain leverage. Rule number 2, find opportunities by focusing on user struggles. And rule number 3, understand the deep psychology behind every decision. This isn't just business insight, it's a completely new way of seeing the world.
So now you can see the matrix, you know? The whole game board is laid out right in front of you. The only thing left to decide is, what's your first question going to be? Thanks so much for joining me.